Hello.
Hey Kim, ready for our last session of the day?
Ready? I
Okay.
am ready.
Hi Erik, what's you up to?
Hi, Mom. I'm up to no good.
Of course. What is he wearing today?
Um, he changed. He had the kilt on,
Oh,
being
that's right.
really
Yeah.
goofy, and he's chilling. He's got jeans and a just plain white t-shirt on.
Okay.
No holes in his jeans.
Wow. Good.
So he smells good. He just smells like manly cologne.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, it's better than the smells you usually give people for pranks.
No hat either. Like he's well groomed.
Okay. Nice. Mama taught you well. All right, so I thought we'd talk about.
He said, "Oh man, when you said Mama taught you well," he goes, "I even tied my own shoes."
Oh, you don't have to have Velcro shoes anymore? Oh, that's awesome. That's a step up.
Oh, he's killing me. He's just being silly today, just little boy silly.
Oh, that's my little boy. All right, so let's choose between two things: the root of self-sabotage, or how to guide rather than control. You know, humans are such control freaks, but either one of those is fine. I like to give you choices, Erik, because I like you to say, well, I'm into this, particular topic today more, so yeah, I'll give it a go.
Okay, he goes, he likes both of them. He goes, ooh, self-sabotage. Um, there's a lot that goes into that. Everybody does it.
Oh yeah.
And he says, in one way or another, everybody does it. And a lot of it comes from, he says, nervous tics, anxiety, nervous habits, but also it's this is how humans channel um, disappointment from expectations, I think is
Mm.
what he's saying. Like people will place expectations on themselves, and if they're not meeting it, or if they feel like they're um, not connecting to their self, not meeting their own expectations, then you begin to see self-sabotage happen, whether it's I'm going to go home and stuff my face. That's not good for you. Or a lot of people bite their nails. Even that he is considering like
Mm-hmm.
self-sabotage. He says, and it comes from disappointment from expectations. And then he's like, I hate that booger. And he's talking about expectations.
I know my husband says, hey, you want to be happy? Just lower your expectations. And that's true. So make your
It's,
expectations reasonable. But can you
he
give.
says,
Oh, go ahead.
he says it's really true. He's making my ear ring really loud. He
Uh
says
oh.
it's really true. The expectations, like it are an illusion in itself and can alter what you experience or how you experience it.
Yeah.
Um, so then, when you're not meeting expectations or even something outside of you, you expect something else to be a certain way and it doesn't go that way.
Mm.
Um, then it like it's this real funky ricochet, he says, like this ricochet effect. Like, let's say you go into a soccer game and you
Mm-hmm.
expect it to be amazing, and you get there and it's not going your way, and it's just falling apart. Then that it's like that energy, those unfair expectations, like ricochet back into you, and then people channel that through self-sabotage. Again, whether it's like, people pick their fingers, or just default to a habit of some sort. A lot of habits come out of the expectation, the whole chain he just explained, the expectations and disappointment from expectations, he says, leads to unhealthy habits.
Yeah, like
Um,
the Texans lose yet again, and so a fan goes out and gets drunk. Of course, if they win, they probably go out and get drunk too, but that's another story.
he says, but he goes, that's a great example, Mom. But if they lose and somebody goes out and gets drunk, they carry that funk. If they go out and get drunk, they're on a high. They're celebrating. Their energy's up.
The drunk funk.
Hmm I like that. He says, because you know, again, it leads back to expectations, but the self-sabotage in it is if they go out and get drunk because they're happy because they won, the vibration is up. If they go out and get drunk because their team lost, there is a sense of, he goes, believe it or not, there's a sense of blame and self-guilt that people carry, like,
Hmm.
oh, my team lost, that
I
just
picked the
sucks.
wrong
And, oh.
one to root for. Yeah, really.
Because
Okay.
even if it's like a relationship and the
Hmm.
relationship doesn't go like you thought, or you were being misled, and then you begin to blame yourself, then you carry that funk. That in itself is self-sabotage. You begin to, well, why did I think that way anyway about us? And you start this whole thought process that is self-degrading, he
Yeah.
says.
So, well, why do unmet expectations make people self-sabotage?
It's a control thing, he says.
Hmm.
People need an outlet to channel that funk, that negative energy, and
Yeah.
it often people, it's like a default mechanism. He says people default to um, the self-sabotage habits out of control. Because they had expectations, they weren't met, so that feels like out of control.
Ah.
So then they channel that energy back through them, and it's all funky feeling. And so then they have self-sabotage habits to make them still feel like they had some sort of control.
Like you're controlling your nails and you're controlling your state of mind by drinking, or you're controlling by cutting yourself, or there's
Yeah.
so many ways to self-sabotage, or controlling by overeating.
Yep. And even not eating. He says
Yeah.
it really boils down to a control factor that is in the same group with expectations. Um, it's just how people channel it, Mom. It's that need for control.
Well, why do humans need to control so much? You spirits don't feel like that, do you? You don't have any need to control things, do you?
He goes, hell no.
I guess you can easily control things anyway. Thought
He
creates
says,
reality, so you can create anything for yourself, any situation, any possession, anything.
he
Lucky
says,
you.
it's on the human experience. He goes, think about this, Mom. He's getting all
I'll
on a
try.
soapbox. He goes, he goes, and I'm not stereotyping, but think about hippies and people, all they care about is love. And he goes, they don't care about control. Why is that? Because they're more
Because they're
spiritual.
on dope,
They're
probably. No, I'm kidding.
probably.
Well, that
Um,
probably helps. Little
it-
ayahuasca,
yeah, he says,
relinquish control.
he says, um, those types of people are more spiritual. And the more spiritual, the less need for control you have, because you know that that need for control is trapping, makes you
Mm,
feel trapped. And if you don't have that control and you don't need it, there is a sense of freedom with that.
yeah.
He says, so us here, we understand things much differently than humans, and we understand everything is all at once, everything is one.
Yeah.
Also, we can manifest whatever we need to. So he goes, yeah, that's kind of cool, but we don't do it out of the need for power. That's ego, and we don't have ego, he
Yeah.
says. So it is part of that human experience and that human battle with ego
Mm,
is that need for control based on the lack of understanding. If you have a connection to higher self and have more of an understanding of the whole world around you, you'll realize that, he says, having control is a fucking illusion.
mm,
Because even if you do things, self-sabotage or anything else, it's an illusion. You still don't have control, really. You can be deliberate in your actions and things, he says, but everything is predetermined. Everything is existing all at once, all together, all at
mm.
the same time. So to say that anything is controlling over anything is actually, he says, it's just an illusion
Yeah.
that
It,
creates so much divide, he says.
it's so weird how, letting go of control can be so scary and yet so freeing. It's like, it's like almost like having a toddler having a pacifier. They don't want it to go, and but then they lose it, and all of a sudden, they're free. They don't have to worry about, oh my God, do I have my binky with me or not? Or, it's that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're
And
just
he
a
says,
bunch of toddlers, whiny toddlers, us humans.
oh, he goes, um, he said like the interview we did a while back with Bigfoot, they think you are.
Oh,
They think you're
me?
like toddlers.
No, I'm kidding.
No,
Yeah,
humans.
I know they must. Boy, people love those interviews. You guys, if you haven't seen the Bigfoot series, you got to. Amazing.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
He just says, it all comes back down to ego, Mom. Um, the ego drives you to the need for control, and the need for control drives you to self-sabotage, based on self-blame and self-guilt. All that's wrapped up in ego. He says so. He put a top hat on for some reason, and he says, so if I could advise you to do anything, it would be to step into love and outside of ego.
Okay, how do you step out of your ego? How do you diminish your ego? Or how do you let go of control? Like one or the other.
He says, well, if you know how to let go of ego, you won't have to worry about letting go of control
Okay, so
because
let's
that
tackle that.
is
Good.
automatic. Um, Letting go of ego is really, again, all about surrendering and accepting everything around you because ego says, I need to understand that person. I need to understand why they did that. And ego says, I got to figure this out for my own personal gain. Or ego says, I want. Um, Love says, I just accept what is.
Mm.
Um, Now, sure, humans have needs, humans have wants, but he says there's a fine line between how it affects others and um, are you doing it to massage your ego? He says, are you doing something to boost your ego? That's when you know you're ego driven. But like if you have a need and you fulfill that need out of love because you want to share or it's out of genuine compassion and
Mm-hmm.
authenticity, then it's not going to massage your ego. It's not
Okay.
going to, he says, basically, Mom, just accepting what is. There's so many changes that come in that he says, letting go of the need to judge people and the need to
Oh, yeah. That's a lot
relate.
of work.
He says it's really cool when you can relate to somebody, but accept them even if you have nothing in common and you can't relate. There's still a natural resonating love between you and any other human, but it's up to you to connect to that.
Mm. Wow, that's very powerful. I like that.
He goes, that's what they tell me all the time.
Yeah.
He's so ornery today.
So it's really ironic how letting go is so hard for us because it seems like, well, that's not doing anything, not thinking anything, not it's inaction, whereas control is action and seems to take effort. So why do we have such trouble letting go and fully accepting?
This is another word. He says attachments. People just develop attachments to emotions, to ideas, to people, to situations. And those attachments, there he goes again. He goes, those attachments are an illusion. It's something that you've developed yourself. So that's why it's so hard to let go because you
Mm.
have developed, you know, even if it's just you lost your great Aunt Susie and it's so hard to move on without her, he says that's because you are attached to the role that she played in your life.
Mm.
And now it's changed. Now things are different and you have to readapt.
Mm.
He says so you really have to keep your eyes wide open and be aware of the attachments you're making. Um, Attachments, again, root from control, like the need for control.
Mm.
I'm attached to, my child being like this, and now they're like this, and I can't believe it. And
Mm.
it's just that change that people have a hard time with
Yeah.
because of their attachments, he says.
So they have to maybe examine their attachments?
He says, absolutely. And um, it's more like a natural state. I'm sorry, neutral state of being. Just the more this is he goes, this is trippy for me. He goes, because he's two opposite things he wants to say. Okay. Hopefully we can all make sense of this. Being as neutral as you can is important, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a personality and you can't have characteristics that define you.
Mm.
But being neutral to wanting to control, wanting to judge, wanting to understand, um, just accept. That's what people have a hard time with.
Is there any exercise that you can have people do today so that they can, in order to practice achieving that complete acceptance?
He's being real nonchalant. He goes, yeah, they when things don't go your way or when things are different or not like you expected, instead of defaulting to your emotions and just reacting, think about it first. Just process and feel it first. He
Mm.
says, and instead of reacting, he says, process and listen to the way you feel. He's walking away as he's talking, so he's just like he's pacing. It's hard to hear him.
Oh,
Hang on.
that pacer. That pacing of that boy. Mm.
He does. When he really wants to be solid in his answer, he'll throw a finger up and then he'll pace for a minute. So process it. Accept what just happened, even if you don't like it, even if you don't understand it and it doesn't feel right. Process it first. Just accept it. Listen to how it makes you feel before you react emotionally. People are such emotional beings. They default to and
Yeah,
act on their emotions before anything.
you're
He
right.
says, so just take time first. That's the best advice I can give for um, realizing the attachments that you have.
Well, you're saying to feel, but emotions are feeling.
He says they are, but people react immediately
Oh, okay.
based on their feelings. So don't react.
Oh, okay.
Take time to feel and accept. He goes, that's important. Just accept. Because when you do, you're at a better state, a better place to learn from what's going on and to be able to see um, your expectations.
Okay. Well, last thing. See, give us a mantra we can use when we feel like we're, you know, out of control.
He's just repeating, I
And about the
accept.
self-sabotage. Sorry about that.
Yeah, he's just repeating, I accept, I accept, I
Okay.
accept.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome. You're
Eric,
welcome, Mama.
come visit me
Yes, ma'am. You
for a
got it.
rizzle. Okay. You guys stay tuned for the information that follows so you can know how to check Kim out. Got her website up, and it's a great website, by the way.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
just check out the dates for our upcoming tour and other things. Be sure you like and subscribe, too, because it really helps our efforts.
It
I
really
hope you
does,
guys
guys.
enjoyed this. And until next time,
Bye-bye.
bye. Bye, Kim.
Bye. Take
See
care.
ya.